United States Capitol. It's the 37th Annual National Memorial Day Concert. And now, here are tonight's hosts, Tony Award nominee Mary McCormack and Emmy Award winner Gary Sinise.
Tonight, the National Memorial Day Concert is dedicated to all who have served and sacrificed since the dawn of our nation 250 years ago.
And now, please rise, in body or in spirit, for our national anthem, performed by Grammy Award nominee, Guyton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets thundered, the most singing high, gave proof through the night that our flag was o'er the land of the free and the
And now, welcome to the 37th Annual National Memorial Day Concert. Tonight's special guests are Emmy and Golden Globe winning actor Noah Wyle, Academy Award winner Melissa Leo, platinum selling recording artist Andy Grammer, multiple CMA Award winner Jamey Johnson, 6-time Emmy nominee Jonathan Banks, 2-time Tony Award nominee Broadway star Laura Osnes, multiple Grammy Award nominee Blessing Offor, Academy of Country Music nominee Guyton, with a special performance by country icon Alan Jackson, featuring the National Symphony Orchestra conducted by Maestro Jack Everton, and General Dan Caine, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the U.S. Army Herald Trumpets, the U.S. Army Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, the U.S. Army Chorus, the Soldiers Chorus of the U.S. Army Field Band, the U.S. Navy Band Sea Chanters, the U.S. Air Force Singing Sergeants, the Armed Forces Color Guard and Service Color Teams, and Patrick Lundy and the Ministers of Music. welcome back our hosts, Mary McCormack and Gary Sinise.
Welcome to the 2026 National Memorial Day Concert, an event that has been so appropriately called America's memorial service for the nation, a way to honor all our heroes and America's Gold Star families. As longtime viewers of this concert know, Joe Mantegna and I traditionally co-host together. Although Joe is unable to be with us this year, my co-host this evening is my friend, a proud daughter of a U.S. Marine, Mary McCormack. Mary, welcome.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. This year's concert has a special meaning for all Americans. For tonight, we remember the many challenges our nation has overcome in its 250-year history. From the Minutemen who faced those first gunshots at Lexington and Concord that started us on our path to independence, to those serving around the world today in harm's way, every generation has unselfishly answered the call.
We cannot ever truly repay the debt we owe these warriors. They have made us a great nation. So please join us in tribute to all who have served, are currently in uniform, and all those about to enter our armed forces. Let's show them all our appreciation.
Pay tribute to our wounded, ill, and injured warriors here with us from Fort Belvoir Hospital and Walter Reed National Military Medical Center.
Please join us in showing our appreciation for all these American heroes.
In addition to our musical performances and stories, throughout this concert, we'll also be hearing from active duty heroes sharing why they serve.
With a song dedicated to all the service members and their families in our nation's history who have never given up on America, never given up on each other, and speaks to how we will never give up on them, here is award-winning artist Andy Grammer.
founding fathers were optimistic. I mean, they had a dream and they believed that something like the United States of America was possible. And thinking about those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice and those who have gone before us, freedom is not free. And it takes all of us here in the United States to pitch in order to keep our way of life.
United States Army Fife and Drum Corps. On the evening of March 5th, 1770, tensions in Boston over oppressive taxation and military occupation exploded into what came to be known as the Boston Massacre.
Over the next 5 years, the taxes and restrictions imposed by the British Crown on American liberty became unbearable. Then, on the morning of April 19, 1775, shots fired on the commons of Lexington, Massachusetts began what has been called the most influential revolution in world history.
On July 2nd, 1776, the Continental Congress declared that all ties between America and England should be permanently dissolved. 2 days later, the Declaration of Independence was proclaimed in Philadelphia. From the beginning, the fate of the new nation was by no means a foregone conclusion. The odds were stacked against us, yet ordinary men and women proved willing to risk their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for a powerful idea that shaped our identity.
Few people, said newly appointed Continental Army Commander George Washington, know the predicament we are in. The fate of unborn millions will now depend under God on the courage and conduct of this army.
One soldier, 17-year-old Joseph Plum Martin of Connecticut Militia, left an unforgettable record of those devastating 8 years of war.
Here to tell his story is Emmy-winning actor Noah Wyle.
I was 15 when I heard about Lexington and Concord. Wanted to sign up right then, but my grandsire forbade it. If you don't let me join, I told him, I'll run away and become a privateer instead. That changed his mind quick. In June 1776, I was bound for New York to serve under General Washington. I was what I always longed to be, a soldier. All I desired was to prove myself equal to my profession. They said the British Army in New York was reinforced by 15,000 men. I didn't care if there had been 15 times 15,000. I never thought about the numbers. In my opinion, we were Americans, and we were invincible. When we got to Long Island, the British poured canister and grape shot upon us like a shower of hail. The enemy drove our men into a creek at high tide. As many were drowned as killed. My first job in the Army was to fish out the corpses. That scrape was barely over when they hit us again at Kip's Bay. Our people were all militia. The demons of fear and disorder seemed to take full possession of anything and everything on that day. When the British fleet let loose with their cannons, I thought the sound would blow my head off. I made a frog's leap into a ditch. Some of the British came so near me that I could see the buttons on their coats. They drove us clear out of New York, all the way up to Harlem Heights. During the retreat, one of the men complained about being hungry. His colonel put a hand inside his coat pocket. He took out a piece of Indian corn burned black as coal. Here, he said, eat this and learn to be a soldier. People nowadays, they read the history of the great men, and they think they know what those 8 years of war were like. But nobody could know who wasn't there. Nobody who wasn't a soldier. Everywhere the British went, they left a trail of devastation. Cattle killed and laying about in the fields and pastures, tools hacked apart, barns broken to pieces, wells filled up, families butchered where they stood. I saw towns laid in ashes, People murdered and cast into their burning houses. After the fire was out, I saw families scrambling to find the bones of their relatives among the rubbish. I saw men split like fish to be broiled when they stooped behind the breastworks, but didn't stoop low enough. I saw a shell pass in front of a man's face without touching him. Didn't break an inch of skin, but shattered his skull all to pieces. He fell dead into a trench. And I remember the first man I shot. Took my aim directly between his shoulders, as true as I ever did at any animal in my life. The fire and smoke blinded me, but he dropped dead just the same. I read a pamphlet once where it said the revolution was a time that tried men's souls. Well, I'm here to tell you, it tried men's bodies just as hard. There were plenty who left when their enlistments were up. Some didn't even wait that long. But there were plenty who stayed. In October 1781, we marched to Williamsburg to join General Lafayette and pay the British a visit at Yorktown. The watchword was Rochambeau, the name of the French commander, and if you said it fast, it sounded like, "Rush on, boys!" And that's exactly what we did. There was no stopping us. The British surrendered 3 days later. We were marched onto the parade ground across from the French forces. The lobsterbacks tried to pay us no attention, and then General Lafayette had the band strike up Yankee Doodle. When they heard that, the British turned and they saw us. Us. Common soldiers. Farmers. Shopkeepers. Americans. What they called a rabble in arms. Well, that rabble had just defeated the most powerful empire known to creation. I confess there was as much sorrow as joy on the occasion. We had lived together as brothers, shared the dangers and sufferings of a soldier's life, and now we were to be parted forever. Every private soldier in an army thinks his service as important as that of the most influential general. And why not? What could officers do without such men? Nothing at all. We wore ourselves out with fatigues and hardships, but it was the fight that mattered, not only for ourselves, but for the generations that would come after us. It still seems a miracle to me how an army of volunteers, starved, naked, suffering everything short of death, and thousands even that, should be able to persevere through 8 years of war and win a country. But we did. And that country is called the United States of America.
Yeah.
With a song dedicated to every generation of American heroes, here is Tony Award nominee, Laura Osnes.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers stand, land of the pilgrims' God.
Thank you, Laura. Please also join me in thanking America's Orchestra, the National Symphony Orchestra, once again under the direction of Maestro Jeff Beverly. 30 years after the end of the Revolutionary War, the ground on which we stand tonight became a battlefield. British troops captured Washington, D.C., and set fire to the White House and the U.S. Capitol at the height of the War of 1812. Once again, America beat back the threat. It would be the last foreign assault on American soil for over 100 years. All that changed on the morning of December 7th, 1941, a date that President Franklin Delano Roosevelt said would live in infamy. The attack on Pearl Harbor began at 7:48 a.m. Hawaiian time, launched from 6 Japanese aircraft carriers. By the end of the attack, the U.S. Pacific Fleet and our naval aircraft were decimated. Over 2,400 Americans were dead and more than 1,000 were wounded. The next day, the United States Congress declared war on Japan. War on Germany and Italy followed 3 days later. One of the U.S. Navy sailors in Pearl Harbor that day was a young man of 18, Chuck Kohler. Here to tell his story is acclaimed actor Jonathan Banks.
I was born in a log cabin in northwestern Minnesota. My parents were dirt farmers, sharecroppers. It wasn't the kind of life I wanted to live. I knew there was something better somewhere, at least for me. So 2 months and 1 week after my 17th birthday, I joined the United States Navy on April the 3rd of 1941. After boot camp, we left San Diego for the Naval Air Station on Ford Island, right in the center of Pearl Harbor. They put me in what they called the beach party, working maintenance on amphibious patrol aircraft. You forget the bib overalls, I kidded my folks. My uniform in Hawaii is tennis shoes, shorts, and swimming trunks. I stayed in that beach party until December the 7th, 1941. That morning I was assigned to security watch. Everything looked ship-shape, so I parked myself in a personnel office. I figured a fancy typewritten letter would really impress my mother. Over the clacking of the keys, I could hear approaching aircraft. Nothing unusual about that. We were a naval air station. Planes came and went. At first, I thought it was some of our pilots doing a little hot dogging. Boy, I said to myself, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes when the commanding officer gets hold of them. The next thing I knew, there was a tremendous war. Bomb fragments and shattered glass bore into the back of my head and shoulders. It took me a minute or two to get my thoughts back on track after the concussion of the blast. When I got outside, I could make a Japanese Zero in a steep power drive. Machine gun bullets from that plane were popping and buzzing, and they were whizzing all around me. The duty officer ordered everybody in the ditch to protection. I don't want to be in any damn ditch, I said. We're military men. We should be putting up a fight. I told an ordnance man, let's get guns and ammo and shoot these sons of bitches. If I was going to lose my life in this or any battle, I knew damn well I'd want my family and country to know I did it fighting, not hiding. We made it to the ammo shack. Give me a 50 caliber machine gun, I said to the ordnance man. My country boy hunter instinct just took over. If any enemy aircraft came in my field of fire, I shot at it. The last plane to come into range was in a fast banking left turn. I squeezed that trigger and I saw two of those tracer bullets just forward of the cockpit. It did an abrupt roll and it disappeared. The smoke in the airfield put on such a heavy cloud, it obliterated about everything. But I could still see the USS Nevada making a run for open water. Those Japanese pilots were on it like a swarm of bees. They dropped 5 bombs, knocked holes in the galley and the upper decks, but she made it through. When the Arizona exploded, it sounded like the crack of doom. I felt the heat blast all the way across the channel. The bow flew off from tons of gunpowder down in the hole. Not long after, I saw the Oklahoma capsize. "400 men were trapped on that ship when it rolled over. Nobody could get to them in time. It took days to recover all the bodies floating in water. Our mess hall became a triage hospital. The corpses were stacked up in piles like cordwood. That's a sight you never forget. When I went to my duty station that morning, I was a 17-year-old sailor boy trying to be a military man. When it was over, I think I was going on about 34. But I can tell you, I was grateful to be a part of the response to the attack on December the 7th. And I stayed part of the fight straight to the end. Last thing I did was participate in the surrender of a Japanese garrison on an atoll in the Marshall Islands. We hauled down their flag and raised the Stars and Stripes. When my service to my country ended, I left the war behind me, got busy trying to build a civilian life. I figured what we did had to be done, and now that was over. It was finished. I packed it all away in a box and closed the lid on it, put it aside and forgot about it. And it stayed that way for 64 years. Until my daughter took me back to Pearl Harbor. There on the honor wall of the U.S. Missouri, there on the honor wall of the USS Arizona Memorial were the names of the 1,176 men who gave their lives in action on that ship. I looked down at the sunken hull rustling on the bottom of the harbor and made a solemn promise to the heroes who died that day. I would do everything I could to bring them honor and remembrance they deserved. When I finally started to talk about my experience as a Pearl Harbor survivor, people asked me if I'd be willing to share my story with young people. They said if veterans don't share their experience with their children, their grandchildren, with students in school, then that history will die with them. So I thought, if I don't do it now, who? When? But I do not do this alone. The spirit of 2,400 others pushes me on. Otherwise, they'd be forgotten. And none of them should be forgotten. From the very beginning, brave Americans have answered the call of the country. They stepped forward, put on a uniform, laid their lives on the line, and made the ultimate sacrifice so others could experience the liberties and freedoms they themselves might never see. I stand on their shoulders. We stand on their shoulders.
Yeah!
All of us, every American.
Thank you, Jamey. And thank you, Mr. Kohler, for allowing us to share your story tonight. You are truly an inspiration to us all.
With us tonight, representing all who served during the Second World War, are these honored members of America's greatest generation. Into the stone, the Korean War Memorial are 4 words. Freedom is not free. Just as you have honored your own in your memories, so we now honor you. You paid the price for freedom for all of us. Navy Captain Royce Williams is America's only living Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, awarded for his actions in the Korean War. He sent a special message to share with us.
The forgotten war is not forgotten, and I'm finding out today that I'm not forgotten either. And I'm thinking heavily about the people that were engaged in fighting for our country. Those people are heroes. Spend some time thinking about those people and what they did and why they did it, and that's because they got something in their heart that loves America. God bless America.
Joining us tonight in person are distinguished veterans of that war. Please rise and thank not only these brave American heroes, but also their fellow patriots across the country.
Give enough respect to those that came before me. I thank them more for the path that they tread for me to follow. Every civilian, every soldier, every future service member owes it to those that came before us. Memorial Day for me is a period of reflection. To think about those that made the ultimate sacrifice, those that weren't able to come home.
Tonight, as we honor the bravery of over 9 million men and women who served in our armed forces during the Vietnam War era, we also shine the spotlight on their service after the war. Many of them dedicated themselves to connecting with and making a difference for those who brought home visible and invisible wounds of war. But they did so much more than just help our wounded warriors. With their advocacy, they changed support systems and created new ones for veterans of their own generation and those that followed, like the vet centers, where counseling without labels got many veterans through the door, where they could feel there was no shame in asking for help. Their work and their mentoring of younger warriors has created a new model of heroism. With Gary tonight are 2 heroes, Vietnam War veteran Jim Mayer and Iraq War veteran Eric Castro.
Jim, in 2004, we were honored to share your amazing story. When our wounded started coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, what prompted you to reach out to them?
A lot of Vietnam vets came home unwelcome and had tough times. I was very lucky. My family and my friends were so supportive. After I lost both my legs in Vietnam, I spent 10 months in an Army hospital. The doctors and the nurses saved my life and restored it. But it was the friendship of my fellow wounded patients that really pulled me through. Years later, when the younger wounded warriors started arriving at Walter Reed, I thought, I've lived this. I can volunteer, I can be a visitor, I can say, we'll help you through this, we'll help you connect, maybe even help you have some fun.
Eric, how did you feel when someone like Jim reached out to you?
After losing my leg in Iraq, I was in a dark place. But after meeting Jim, he helped out a lot. At first, I thought I was going to be dependent on people throughout the rest of my life. But after weeks of meeting Jim, I didn't realize he was an MVP. He was living his life to the fullest. So at that point, I saw that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. 23 years later now, I mean, I'm thriving, reaching out to my the next generation of veterans, letting them know that they're not alone, they're not forgotten. And thanks to Jim and his generation, they helped us out a lot.
Well, thank you both for sharing your stories. Thank you for your service to our country. Now please join me in thanking and acknowledging all the Vietnam War era veterans here with us tonight and those they helped along the way.
Dedicated to all those we just honored, please welcome multiple Grammy nominee, Blessing Offor.
Lift me up when the world gets cold and it's all too much. Sometimes I need somebody to remind me what I'm made of.
When 9/11 happened, I was in 9th grade. And I remember everyone getting pulled into the gymnasium when we heard the news that the World Trade Center had been attacked. As Americans, we're not untouchable. We came together, and you felt that sense of community. You felt that sense of brotherhood. People putting aside their differences to come together for a common cause. You know, we're all Americans. 25 years later, I'm in the military now, serving America and fighting for our freedom.
September 11th, 2026 marks the 25th anniversary of a day that forever changed America and changed all of us. Tonight, the National Memorial Day concert honors the victims and heroes of that day and the days that followed. That Tuesday promised to be no different than any late summer day. People headed to work as they always did, dropped off their children at school, looked forward to that night's baseball games. Then a bright, ordinary morning suddenly transformed into America's darkest hours.
We just got a report that there's been some sort of explosion at the World Trade Center in New York City.
Fire crews are descending on this area. Oh my God.
That looks like a second plane. This looks like it is some sort of a concerted effort to attack the World Trade Center that is underway. We are totally powerless in knowing what's going on here.
Washington had to take the position that they are under some form of attack. It looked like a Gator plane crashed right into the Pentagon. What started in New York is now happening in Washington.
The NDA has ordered all aircraft currently in the air over the United States to land at the nearest airport.
I'm on 93 and it's been hijacked. Right there, they have a bomb. Hopefully I'm just going to say I love you. Mark, this is your mom. If you can, group some people and try to take over the aircraft.
I just saw the smoke come up and the explosion shook the house clear over here.
They say the fire is also spreading downward now through the tower.
You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
The second building that was hit by the plane has just completely collapsed.
On that day, a quarter century ago, 2,977 human souls were lost. None of us will ever forget where we were when we heard the news and saw what was happening. Perhaps we were already watching TV, or perhaps it was a call we got from a friend or a loved one. Are you seeing this? I can't believe it. Oh my God. All those people. Over the next few hours, our disbelief turned into shock, then tears, then anger. And then, over 300 million Americans joined together, united by our collective need to do something, anything, to help. What could I do? What could any of us do? Some rushed to donate blood. Others went to pray. And in those hours, what was forged in our national spirit was this: our enduring promise to those we lost to never forget. 25 years ago, a country music legend wrote a song that helped Americans find meaning and solidarity in troubled times. With his Nashville performance of Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning, here is Alan Jackson. There were so many Americans who leapt into action on September 11th in New York, on Flight 93, and not too far from here, at the nerve center of our national defense.
One of the heroes at the Pentagon that day was Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Horoho. To share her story, here is Academy Award-winning actress, Melissa Leo.
My dad fought in World War II, Korea, Vietnam. I was born and raised at Fort Bragg. Even so, I think I shocked my whole family when I came home one day and said, "I'm joining the Army." I trained as a nurse in mass casualty response. What I learned was that preparedness allows you to react when you need to. You don't think twice. You do what you have to do. In August 2001, I was assigned to the Pentagon, working on health policy. September 11th was a perfect fall day. While I was walking down one of those endless Pentagon corridors, I can't really explain it, but sometimes I get these instincts that feel like divine guidance. I've learned to trust them. This voice inside my head kept saying, "Don't go down that hallway." Then I heard someone yell, "The World Trade Center's been hit." I turned into an office where people were watching a plane strike the South Tower. My instincts kicked in again. I said it out loud. There's going to be a series of attacks. We're next. A few minutes later, the whole building just shook. A strange kind of calm came over me, like time just stopped. I ran straight to the impact site. Smoke was billowing out of this gaping hole in the building. The ground was burning hot. Plane debris was everywhere, jagged pieces of glass and smoldering metal. People were trying to find their way out of the darkness and the fire, breaking windows, trying to escape in any way possible. At that point, we had no supplies. Then an aid bag appeared, IVs, needles, gloves, tubes for intubation. A one-star general came up to me and said, "What do you need?" I said, "Your belt for a tourniquet." We were doing battlefield triage on the grounds of the Pentagon. It wasn't easy trying to create order in the middle of chaos. Ambulances started arriving, the fire department, urban search and rescue, the FBI. By the time all air traffic was grounded, we'd gotten a host of severely burned patients out by airlift with a fighting chance to survive. This is what war feels like, I thought. We're at war. This is what my dad lived through. And the stench of jet fuel was overpowering. But people never stopped going back inside the building to find survivors. Everybody pitched in. By nightfall, it had turned into a recovery operation. We knew there wouldn't be any more coming out alive. That was a hard moment. Through the smoke, I could see the firemen unfurling the flag on the roof of the Pentagon. And that sight drove home for me that the words, United States of America, weren't just words. We were united in our resolve because everyone came together on 9/11. When the list of casualties was printed, I just kept praying, "Please, God, don't let me know anybody." And then, among the names, I saw my office mates, Major Ron Milam and Sergeant Major Lacey Ivory, and my colleague, Lieutenant Colonel Garrett Wagner. We lost 184 lives at the Pentagon. But one life touches so many others. No one thought it would be their last day. Their wives and husbands thought they'd be coming back home. Their children thought they'd be coming back home. But they never did. Our enemies underestimated us. They saw us divided and they thought they could take advantage. But the terrible cruelty they brought down united us in ways they could never understand. As we get closer to the 25th anniversary of 9/11, I feel this ache in my heart that people have already begun to forget. Memorial Day is our shared bond. It's our nation coming together to remember those who perished and to show our gratitude for those who stepped up and gave their all. There is power in that memory. As we honor their sacrifice tonight, every one of us must ask, how do we serve? When I saw our flag waving through all that smoke and flames, I saw threads of courage. I saw threads of sacrifice. I saw threads that bind the history of our nation. A legacy of service, of duty, of unity. That's what I saw that day. And that's what I still see.
First responders, a community of Americans coming together to do whatever was needed to help and then begin to heal.
And just as we will never forget the horrors of that day, we will always remember the actions and goodwill in the days, the weeks, the months, and even the years that followed. Please rise and join us in thanking and honoring those who answered the call in New York, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, and who represent all those who did so across the nation.
Remains strong 250 years after its founding, thanks to the countless heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice, their military families and the Gold Star families who will always love them.
He looked at me in a way I've never seen my son look at me, and he said, Dad, I've got to go. My men are waiting on me. And I said, okay, you go. But you take care of those men and you bring them all home. He didn't come home alive, the rest of those men made it home.
I hear the words, I regret to inform you. It's your worst nightmare.
It's surreal because you say it's 12, 13 years, but my mom heart says it was yesterday.
And you wonder what he's like. You just pray, and you know he can hear you, and he's right there with you all the time.
I buried my child. I ain't the same person no more. Never will be.
I never heard my daddy cry. To that day. When I got that news, it just shook me to the core.
Daddy's gonna be God's soldier now. And he said, but I will miss him. And I said, I will miss him too, but we are never going to forget him.
They paid the supreme price for our freedom, and it is for those heroes and their families that we now play taps. With a song dedicated to all the heroes we've lost, please welcome back Marine Corps veteran Jamey Johnson.
Take my hand, Lord, lead me home.
The connections our heroes have with each other while in the service and afterwards remind us as civilians of our duty to support them and to lend a helping hand whenever we can. That means reaching out to America's Gold Star families, for they are the ones who, through the willingness of their loved ones to serve and sacrifice, have kept the dream of the United States of America alive. There are so many ways each of us can do something, and not just on Memorial Day, but every day of the year. On our website, you'll find links to organizations dedicated to helping veterans, Gold Star families, active duty military, and their families. And if you or someone you know is at risk, experience symptoms of emotional distress, or having thoughts of suicide, help is available. Please reach out and connect to care.
I serve for the next generation to have the same freedoms and liberties that I have been afforded throughout my lifetime.
It comes back to those three core values: honor, courage, and commitment.
We're there for our freedom, we're there to protect and serve, and that's the end goal for everybody, regardless of where they're coming from.
Why I serve really is to protect my home, to protect my family, protect my community, and protect my way of life and our values here in the United States of America.
As is a tradition from the beginning of the National Memorial Day concert, we now salute all the men and women from every branch of our armed services. Please welcome our nation's top military advisors, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Jack Everly, our orchestra and military choruses perform the Armed Forces Medley. Whether here or watching at home, if you are able, please stand when your service song is presented. United States Coast Guard. United States Coast Guard. United States Navy.
Staff, General Christopher J. Mahoney.
And now, it is our honor to introduce the distinguished Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Please welcome General Dan Caine.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and I'd like to start with asking you to join me in a round of applause for Gary and Mary and all the performers and production teams that put this event on. I am incredibly humbled and grateful to stand tonight alongside America's Joint Chiefs of Staff to honor the unbroken chain of service that stretches back 250 years, and the more than 1 million Americans who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our nation and our freedoms. To us, they are brothers and sisters, names like Gilbert, Zerby, Brown, Harvell, Zembic, Nick, and Czech, who we were honored to fight alongside. Tonight, we pay special tribute to the 14 Americans who lost their lives during Operation Epic Fury. To the families they left behind, there will always be an empty chair at the dinner table, and we will always remember them. The tributes tonight to the patriots of the Revolution, to the heroes who mobilized after Pearl Harbor, and to those who ran into burning buildings on 9/11 and responded after, we remember, and those standing behind me were there. Remember us for that 250 years that America's armed forces and our first responders have always stood up, and when asked the question, who will go, they have always said, send me. Sacrificing themselves so that others may live. Let us strive to live a life worthy of their incredible sacrifice. Let us forever honor their gift of a perfect American example. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 2.8 million men and women who proudly serve today, let us remember those currently deployed right now as we're here on this incredible evening celebrating our country. And let us always remember our fallen, their names, and their families who show us what real courage, grit, and tenacity and the American spirit really look like. God bless America, and may God bless our joint force. And happy 250th birthday, America. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on our 37th annual National Memorial Day Concert. The concert will repeat immediately following this live broadcast on most PBS stations.
And now it's time for our finale. Please take out your phones, turn the flashlight on, and hold them high for all our heroes. And join in as Mickey Guyton and our cast perform God Bless America.
to the friends, to the oceans, wide with
Maybe not that one. Hopefully you have a great summer. Summer 22, you got any big plans? You're going to stick around here? So Devin's going to be around here. It's already so good. Breathe a little.